Hey everyone! Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to my channel for more intense, real-life stories like this one. It had been a week since my wife, Clara, left for what she claimed was a business trip. I had trusted her completely, assuming she was attending meetings, networking dinners, and client events. But as the days passed, a nagging unease settled over me. Something about the way she left, too casual, too rushed, almost eager to be gone, set off alarm bells I couldn't ignore. I told myself I was overthinking, imagining things, but small inconsistencies kept piling up. Every vague text, every suspicious phone call, every little detail that didn't add up began forming a pattern I could no longer dismiss. By the time she returned, Clara carried herself with a carefree energy that felt almost theatrical. She laughed too loudly, smiled too brightly, and hugged me briefly, with a warmth that felt slightly off. Her playful chatter and radiant demeanor were meant to convince me everything was normal, everything was fine, but the subtle arrogance in her eyes betrayed her. I watched her place her luggage by the door, her movements casual but deliberate, as if she believed she had nothing to hide. She had no idea what I had discovered while she was away, nor did she suspect the plan I had quietly set in motion. Over the past few days, I had meticulously gathered evidence. Every receipt, every message, every suspicious note she assumed I wouldn't notice had been quietly documented. I pieced them together like a puzzle, forming a crystal-clear picture of where she had really been and who she had been with. By the time she walked through the door, I had everything ready. Proof of her deception laid out in a way that left no room for denial. This wasn't about confrontation or anger. It was about revealing the undeniable truth in a moment that would leave her fully exposed, shocked, and humbled. When she entered the living room, I gestured toward the table with calm precision. There, neatly arranged, were all the pieces of evidence she had tried so hard to hide. Hotel receipts, messages, photos documenting her escapades. Clara's smile faltered the instant her eyes landed on the table, but she tried to play off, hoping I wouldn't notice. I stayed perfectly still, expression calm, gaze unwavering, letting the weight of the moment sink in. Every second of silence amplified her awareness, forcing her to face the collision between her lies and reality. Her laughter faltered, replaced by disbelief. The charm and confidence she had carried into the house began to crumble. She attempted to step forward to pick up one of the receipts or reach for a photo, but her voice trembled. Nervous energy radiated from her, as if the air itself had thickened with the gravity of the truth. The carefree, teasing woman from moments ago was vanishing before my eyes, replaced by panic and dawning realization. Clara froze completely, her movements stilted, hesitant. Her hands trembled as she hovered over the table, unsure of what to do next. I let the silence stretch, each second magnifying the impact. The confidence she had relied upon, the manipulation she had perfected over months, meant nothing in the face of undeniable evidence. I watched her panic rise with every passing moment, the color draining from her face as the enormity of her exposure hit her. For the first time, she realized she was powerless. Her eyes darted frantically between the photos and messages, desperately seeking an explanation, but there was none. Every excuse, every half-truth she had rehearsed crumbled under the weight of proof. She opened her mouth, but no words came. Swallowed by the reality she could not deny, I remained silent, calm, unwavering, letting her humiliation unfold naturally. There was no need to raise my voice. The truth had already spoken volumes. Her once confident demeanor was shattered. She had no choice but to confront the consequences of her deception. Finally, I spoke, my voice steady, laced with quiet authority. You wanted this. You wanted freedom. Now you see it doesn't work the way you imagined. Every word landed like a hammer. Clara shrank back, avoiding my gaze, body tense. My calm composure contrasted sharply with her panic, intensifying her sense of defeat. She realized the game she thought she was playing had completely backfired. My patience, observation, and careful planning had left her exposed and powerless. There was nothing she could do to undo it. The room remained heavy with tension. Clara's trembling hands, flushed cheeks, and panicked eyes revealed the depth of her humiliation. She had walked in expecting triumph, expecting freedom, expecting to manipulate me with charm and confidence. Instead, she faced the unvarnished truth, a truth she could neither evade nor control. I let the evidence do all the work, allowing the impact of her actions to speak louder than any argument ever could. By the end of the night, Clara was pale, shaken, and utterly speechless. The woman who had returned from her business trip, laughing and carefree, was now humbled, fully aware of her exposure and the consequences of her choices. I hadn't yelled, argued, or forced her to confess. I had allowed the truth to speak for itself, and the effect was devastating. In that quiet, charge room, I understood the power of patient strategy and calm observation. Clara would never underestimate me again. The lesson she had tried to teach me had returned tenfold, leaving her humiliated, shocked, and fully aware of the boundaries she would never cross again.